The story begins by showing in school where three friends hang out together: Hwan Shi-yeon, Choi Soo-ji, and Lee Se-ju. Shi-yeon is a guy who effortlessly attracts women of all ages. Soo-ji comes across as a bit arrogant and impulsive. Se-ju, on the other hand, is a well-known playboy who just wants to enjoy life. During their graduation, Soo-ji meets her old teacher. 4 years ago, when she was innocent, she fell for her art teacher. However, her first love crumbled due to her mother's influence. Upon hearing about the teacher's upcoming wedding, they hatch a revenge plan over 2 months. When graduation day arrives, a scandalous video involving the teacher's future spouse creates a stir. Soo-ji believes that hurting the person they value most is the perfect revenge. Then, a guy named Lee Ki-young takes Soo-ji to hang out with his friends. However, her heart stings again when Ki-young casually labels their relationship as just friendship. Meanwhile, Shi-yeon enjoys teasing a seemingly innocent girl, Jong Na-yoon. Soo-ji eventually confides in her two best friends about all that has happened. Coming back home, Shi-yeon arrives and opens up to his father, expressing that he's not interested in going to college. His rebelliousness even triggers his father to threaten him, mentioning DNA tests that reveal they aren't blood-related. The hidden truth, known only to his late mother, forces Shi-yeon to comply with his father's wishes and live in silence. Amidst his journey filled with sorrow, Shi-yeon coincidentally meets a woman named Eun Tae-hee. He entrusts her with a DNA paper and asks for her help in getting rid of it without looking at it. While reminiscing about his mother and shedding tears, Tae-hee's presence brings a moment of laughter to Shi-yeon as she dozes off on the bus. When Tae-hee leaves, he notices a letter that slipped from his bag. In the meantime, Se-ju goes to Soo-ji's house to console her, only to discover that Jong Na-yoon is the mother of their schoolmate, Ko Kyung-ju. The gossip about Na-yoon and Shi-yeon becomes the talk among the mothers, with Na-yoon worrying about her son's reputation. Eventually, the news reaches Kyung-ju. Kyung-ju herself is Tae-hee's close friend and secretly harbors feelings for Lee Se-ju. Seeing Kyung-ju's post with the three friends, Tae-hee fails to recognize Shi-yeon and mistakenly assumes he's someone Kyung-ju likes. During a scholarship reception, Tae-hee runs into Ki-young, an acquaintance from her past who secretly has feelings for her. Soo-ji, who holds a grudge against Ki-young, notices their closeness, especially since her mother contributed to the event. Soo-ji, driven by her resentment towards Ki-young, starts targeting two individuals important to his future: Park Hae-jong, a wealthy guy she aims to marry, and Eun Tae-hee, her first love. Soo-ji wants Ki-young to experience rejection like never before. But when Shi-yeon faces some trouble, he promptly declines to take part in the revenge scheme. In the midst of all this, Shi-yeon meets Na-yoon, who pleads with him to keep their relationship secret from her son. This lighthearted conversation is witnessed by Tae-hee, who still mistakenly thinks Kyung-ju likes Shi-yeon. As events unfold, Shi-yeon and Soo-ji are shocked by the sudden announcement of an engagement between Soo-ji's mother and Shi-yeon's father. Tae-hee discovers that her mother's art exhibition will soon take place, leading to a reunion between them. However, Tae-hee harbors resentment toward her mother. She reveals that 4 years ago, her mother sent her and her father to Germany and cut off contact for 4 years. Then her mother abruptly divorced her father and granted him custody of the children. Now grown up, Tae-hee wants to sever ties with her mother for good. At the same time, Shi-yeon, taken aback by news of his father's engagement, almost collides with Tae-hee, who is brimming with sorrow. This encounter briefly triggers Tae-hee's memories of a past accident that haunts her. Noticing Tae-hee's unusual behavior, Shi-yeon attempts to soothe her. To avoid complications, he gives Tae-hee his phone number for her to call if needed. This action helps Tae-hee finally realize that Shi-yeon is the one Kyung-ju likes. Meanwhile, Soo-ji is thrown into turmoil by the announcement of her mother's engagement, which brings back memories of her father's death. Shi-yeon is the only one who can calm Soo-ji's emotional turbulence. The following day, Soo-ji's mother can only apologize to her daughter. The trio of friends gathers once more in their secret spot. There, Se-ju undermines the future stepbrothers' relationship, viewing the impending marriage as a business arrangement that could lead to mutual destruction. Shi-yeon considers marrying Soo-ji before their parents do, and Se-ju agrees with the idea. However, this plan unexpectedly sparks a quarrel between Shi-yeon and Soo-ji, prompting Se-ju to leave. Soo-ji then challenges Shi-yeon to kiss her as a test, a gesture of commitment. In the past, Shi-yeon had confessed his love to Soo-ji. However, Soo-ji, thinking it might be just a passing fancy, attempted to lock Shi-yeon into kissing her. Surprisingly, they couldn't go through with it, as their deep friendship got in the way, both then and now. Soo-ji came up with a different idea. She challenged Shi-yeon to prove his love through a revenge game involving Ki-young, and the wager this time was their own marriage. If the plan succeeded, Soo-ji agreed to marry Shi-yeon before their parents' wedding. Soo-ji aimed to make Tae-hee fall in love with Shi-yeon, and once her feelings were strong, Shi-yeon had to hurt Tae-hee deeply. Their plan was set in motion. Quickly, Soo-ji arranged for Tae-hee's move-in day at her new dorm, creating an opportunity for Shi-yeon to get close. Meanwhile, Shi-yeon, upon seeing Tae-hee's name on a dropped letter, finally realized that the woman was Eun Tae-hee. Shi-yeon visited Tae-hee's house to apologize for the accident, but found Na-yoon there instead. It turned out that Kyungju's house was registered as Tae-hee's address. Tae-hee tried to keep Kyungju from witnessing the growing bond between her and Shi-yeon, but all her efforts ultimately failed. Tae-hee, still under the impression that Kyungju has feelings for Shi-yeon, quickly distances herself from them. Kyungju, on the other hand, feels embarrassed and frustrated upon realizing that Seo-ju and Soo-ji are aware of Shi-yeon's connection to her mother. Seeing this from afar, Tae-hee misunderstands once again, thinking Kyungju was rejected by Shi-yeon in favor of her mother. Her only recourse is to separate them from the playboy. The following day, Shi-yeon resumes his teasing of Tae-hee, but things take an unexpected turn due to Tae-hee's actions. While on the bus, she encounters a creepy man, and Shi-yeon seizes the opportunity to step in and act cool. However, it turns out the man was hired by Shi-yeon to impress Tae-hee, a plan that Tae-hee quickly uncovers. She confronts him about everyone conspiring to bring them together, and is puzzled by Shi-yeon's behavior, which appears to show genuine interest. When Shi-yeon mentions that this is their third encounter, Tae-hee finally remembers him. Eun Tae-hee is a woman who avoids romantic entanglements, despite attracting attention from men. No matter what Shi-yeon tries to do to win her over, he fails to truly capture her heart. From Shi-yeon's perspective, he believes he's made progress in winning Eun Tae-hee's affection. However, Tae-hee grows tired of Shi-yeon's advances and starts teasing him as a womanizer, even including his own friend's mother in her mockery. She goes so far as to request that she never see Shi-yeon again. Yet secretly, Tae-hee begins to feel guilty for her sharp words. During that moment, Shi-yeon starts to playfully tease Tae-hee to divert her attention. Soo-ji has a conversation with Kyungju and learns about Hae-jong, the woman Ki-young intends to marry. However, she also discovers Kyungju's confession of her long-standing affection for Lee Se-ju. Soo-ji hopes to get Se-ju close to Tae-hee's friend. One morning, Shi-yeon wakes up in a sour mood due to Tae-hee's volunteer commitments. Tae-hee questions once more why Shi-yeon followed her there. Without hesitation, he admits his interest in her, leading him to behave a bit mischievously. For the first time, Shi-yeon engages in tasks and activities that are entirely unfamiliar to him, all to capture Tae-hee's attention. A taxing day for him prompts Tae-hee to lend a shoulder for him to lean on. During a trip, Tae-hee apologizes for her earlier harsh words and asserts that she won't date him, citing her best friend's feelings for Shi-yeon. Shi-yeon's deflated response leaves Tae-hee feeling guilty once more. At his house, Shi-yeon learns that Kyungju actually has feelings for Se-ju, which makes him realize Tae-hee's misunderstanding. Meanwhile, at the club, Kyungju attempts to grab Se-ju's attention, but her efforts backfire and leave her hurt. Observing Se-ju enjoying himself alone, Soo-ji decides to head home but is bothered by an uncomfortable man. Se-ju intervenes and punches the guy. Soo-ji becomes concerned as Se-ju frequently experiences physical punishment from his parents, and she fears he might get hurt by others too. Kyungju returns from the club and recounts the distressing events to Tae-hee. This is when Tae-hee finally grasps the truth. Kyungju's affections are directed at Lee Se-ju, not Shi-yeon. Tae-hee resumes her volunteer work, wondering about Shi-yeon's whereabouts. He arrives later in the evening, prompting Tae-hee to feel a mix of emotions due to his words and actions. Simultaneously, Soo-ji's mother waits with her son for Shi-yeon's father to arrive, but to her surprise, Shi-yeon's father ends up meeting Tae-hee's mother and expressing his long-standing longing for her. Accidentally, Soo-ji witnesses Shi-yeon's father's connection with another woman. Shi-yeon openly shares his feelings with Tae-hee, displaying impeccable acting skills, and assures her that he's ready to wait for her response. Soon, their close bond becomes known to the mothers, causing Tae-hee to feel embarrassed and start avoiding Shi-yeon. She finds herself in a strange situation, torn between enjoying Shi-yeon's affection and feeling awkward about it. On the flip side, Soo-ji is left shocked by what she just witnessed. She pities her mother, who appears to genuinely love Shi-yeon's father, even though their engagement is a mere business arrangement. Kyung-ju quickly senses Tae-hee's feelings for Shi-yeon and contacts Soo-ji to inquire about Shi-yeon's opinion of Tae-hee. However, Soo-ji's response suggests that Shi-yeon isn't interested in Tae-hee. These words weigh heavily on Tae-hee's mind and lead her to become distant with Shi-yeon. Frustrated with Tae-hee's behavior, Shi-yeon becomes fed up and leaves in anger. In their secret meeting place, Shi-yeon decides to cease teasing Tae-hee, claiming that she can't possibly like him. Soo-ji finds this reasoning absurd, as it's Shi-yeon who has been playfully bothering Tae-hee, not Se-ju. Nevertheless, they must stick to their plan since Tae-hee will soon be moving to a new dormitory. Soo-ji notices a deeper concern in Shi-yeon's eyes for Tae-hee, despite her annoyance. This angers Soo-ji, fearing that Shi-yeon might change his mind. However, Shi-yeon reassures her that he's committed to doing whatever she asks of him. The day for Tae-hee's transfer arrives. Unexpectedly, Shi-yeon shows up to help her, surprising and delighting her. However, upon reaching the dormitory, Tae-hee receives news that her transfer has been cancelled, and her room has been given to someone else. Shi-yeon quickly realizes that Soo-ji is behind this scheme. He seizes this opportunity by taking Tae-hee to his home. But as they drive, the car Shi-yeon is driving gets him into trouble, leading to his arrest for theft, even though the car actually belonged to his late mother. Shi-yeon leaves Tae-hee by sharing his home security code, which coincidentally is Tae-hee's phone number. Meanwhile, Shi-yeon must sort out the car's ownership issue connected to his mother. Upon arrival, Tae-hee's presence, armed with knowledge about the car's legacy, leaves the policeman stunned. Fortunately, Shi-yeon's father's secretary steps in to resolve the situation. Now it's Tae-hee's turn to surprise Shi-yeon with her kindness. Without hesitation, she finally confesses her love for the transformed Shi-yeon. With this success, they take the next step and become a couple. Unexpectedly, Shi-yeon arranges for Tae-hee to become his neighbor in his apartment, without revealing that he's the building owner. Their relationship progresses as planned, leading Shi-yeon to congratulate himself for once again winning over a woman. However, not everything goes flawlessly, as Shi-yeon faces Tae-hee's annoyance for his minor mistakes while trying to help her. On the other hand, Soo-ji feels sadness thinking about Shi-yeon's situation at the police station. With no other option, Soo-ji and Se-ju spend time together alone, missing Shi-yeon's presence. The following day, Shi-yeon provides equipment to help with Tae-hee's move. Touched by her gratitude, he momentarily loses focus, captivated by her beautiful smile. Tae-hee embarks on her first day as a student and unexpectedly meets Soo-ji in person for the first time. Just then, Shi-yeon arrives to pick up Soo-ji and Kyung-ju for an event, leaving Tae-hee feeling somewhat left out. Her disappointment grows when she discovers that Shi-yeon is the owner of the building she lives in. Acting as if nothing happened, Shi-yeon invites Tae-hee over for a meal. However, things become awkward when Tae-hee accidentally stumbles upon security guards' items in Shi-yeon's drawer. Embarrassed, Shi-yeon blames Se-ju, who owns the security company. The next day, Soo-ji asks Shi-yeon for Tae-hee's new address. Wanting to keep things low-key, Shi-yeon lies to Soo-ji, claiming he doesn't know it. Kyung-ju invites Tae-hee to go on vacation with their group of friends, an offer she initially declines. Kyung-ju, eager to get closer to Se-ju, eventually convinces Tae-hee to join them on the trip. Kyung-ju's little mother pleads with Tae-hee to stay on vacation, promising to join them soon. Worried that Tae-hee would be alone without her friend, Shi-yeon, who initially didn't want to go, quickly steps in to pick her up. During this time, Shi-yeon apologizes to Tae-hee for not revealing that he's the building owner. In response, Tae-hee playfully teases Shi-yeon about the security she discovered. Upon arriving at the vacation spot, Soo-ji is taken aback by Shi-yeon's presence and his affection for Tae-hee. Seeing their relationship progressing rapidly, Sooji's jealousy and frustration towards Shion start to surface. Later that evening, Tae-hee expresses her envy of the long-standing friendship between the three of them and warmly welcomes Sooji with stories from their past bets. It's almost a warning to Tae-hee, implying that she's just one of many bets they'd made. The atmosphere turns cold when Shion cautions Tae-hee not to reveal too much about him, especially when she herself doesn't know much about him. At the pool, Tae-hee seeks some solo time but is surprised by Shion joining her. He apologizes, and their conversation turns into a romantic moment. However, Shion interrupts the romantic atmosphere and suggests they watch the stars together. Following Shion's departure, Tae-hee confronts Sooji, seeking honesty about the feelings between her and Shion. Sooji sincerely admits that they do indeed have feelings for each other, which prompts Tae-hee to open up. Despite feeling down, Tae-hee rejects Shion's invitation to stargaze and tries to suppress her sadness upon seeing him. Sooji meets with Shion later and warns him, along with Se-ju, not to keep things hidden. It's evident from their conversation that Se-ju had thought their bet was merely a joke, not involving marriage. On a different note, Sooji's mother, while volunteering, stumbles upon a photo of Shihyun's late mother. This triggers memories of the day when Shihyun's mother passed away. The next day, finding Tae-hee at home, Shihyun immediately sets out to locate her. Sooji also appears disappointed, expressing to Se-ju that it seems like Shihyun is no longer playing with Tae-hee, but rather with their own emotions. Tae-hee's injured leg slows her down, but she eventually crosses paths with Shihyun. Without hesitation, he lifts her up, feeling disappointed in her for leaving without saying goodbye. However, Tae-hee's actions manage to bring a smile back to Shihyun's face. Upon arriving to accompany Tae-hee, Shihyun continues to enjoy their time together, creating happy memories in the form of photos. Kyung-ju spots Tae-hee leaving Shihyun's apartment and feels elated, witnessing her friend's blossoming romance. As Tae-hee shares details of the vacation with Kyung-ju, Shihyun playfully teases her, causing Tae-hee to feel a mix of embarrassment and affection. The next day, Shihyun can't help but watch Tae-hee as she busies herself with her part-time job. Unexpectedly, Ki-young arrives to see Tae-hee, provoking jealousy and annoyance in Shihyun. Tae-hee treats Ki-young as a casual acquaintance, which sparks a sense of jealousy in Shihyun. However, Ki-young's lies make Tae-hee angry. He initially promised her a job but instead took her out to dinner. This unexpected turn actually makes Ki-young more intrigued by Tae-hee. Feeling frustrated, Tae-hee takes a moment to help children, eventually joined by Shihyun. He seizes the chance to invite Tae-hee to dinner together. At Shihyun's house, Tae-hee admires his impressive painting skills, but her reaction changes when she sees a portrait of Sooji on the canvas. When she receives a call from her father, Tae-hee uses it as a chance to distance herself from Shihyun. Later, Shihyun discovers the painting that Tae-hee had seen earlier. Tae-hee confesses that their relationship has become challenging for her. The infrequent meetings and her hope of being in a romantic relationship with Shihyun make her decide to step back, fearing the potential heartbreak. Shihyun views this as an opportunity to spare Tae-hee from the bet's potential hurt. Nevertheless, he finds the situation strange as he realizes he has started developing genuine feelings for Tae-hee. In a drunken state, Shihyun opens up to Sooji about her feelings of sadness. She questions Sooji about what she told Tae-hee. Sooji honestly admits that she revealed Shihyun's feelings for Tae-hee. This unexpected shift in Shihyun's emotions frustrates and upsets Sooji. Se-ju, unaware of the situation, inquires why Sooji had become so hopeful about Shihyun's romantic feelings. Se-ju believes Sooji has misunderstood Shihyun's friendly treatment as love. However, Sooji surprises everyone by kissing Se-ju, emphasizing that any treatment she receives doesn't matter to her anymore. Amidst Shihyun's sorrow, Tae-hee immediately starts searching for a new place to live. Surprisingly, she discovers a paper airplane from Shihyun first. Opening the note, Tae-hee learns Shihyun's secret about not being related to his father. When Se-ju visits Shihyun at the hospital, he confirms that the bet is over and confesses his true feelings to Sooji. They decide to take their relationship beyond friendship, a decision that Shihyun supports. While searching for Shihyun to handle her transfer paperwork, Tae-hee learns from Kyung-ju that Shihyun is in the hospital. She visits him there, and Shihyun seizes the chance to apologize for the confusion he caused. He admits that he does have feelings for Sooji, but those feelings are limited to friendship. He realizes that in the past he mistakenly thought it was love. However, being with Tae-hee has allowed him to understand his true feelings, and he now genuinely likes her. Tae-hee begins to forgive him, and she's deeply moved when Shi-yeon gives her a necklace that belonged to his late mother. Shi-yeon's father receives a concerning health diagnosis that suggests he might have lost his vision. In his time of worry, the person he thinks of is Tae-hee's mother. However, he struggles to reach out to her, as the last interaction they had resulted in Tae-hee's mother wanting them to stay apart. In the meantime, Shi-yeon is discharged from the hospital and begins a new chapter in his relationship with Tae-hee. The two of them spend their days together, building their connection and deepening their bond. Se-ju has ventured into entrepreneurship by opening his own restaurant, marking the beginning of his business journey. The camaraderie among the trio, Shi-yeon, Se-ju, and Soo-ji, appears to be stable. Nonetheless, Shi-yeon harbors a concealed desire for Kyung-ju not to divulge her relationship with Tae-hee to Se-ju and Soo-ji. A project orchestrated by Shi-yeon's father involves Soo-ji's mother's company, resulting in a demonstration by employees that leads to Soo-ji witnessing her mother's humiliation. Soo-ji, in her desperation, persistently implores Shi-yeon to marry her. She fears that if her mother's marriage to Shi-yeon's father becomes a reality, it might expose her mother to manipulation and exploitation in business dealings. Soo-ji's emotional turmoil is met with Shi-yeon's icy gaze, and he bluntly urges her to refrain from exploiting their friendship as a means of manipulation. He warns that his patience has its limits. As the tension escalates, Soo-ji ultimately discloses that Shi-yeon's father is involved with another woman, sparking Shi-yeon's anger and persistent inquiries about the woman's identity. Soo-ji herself is unaware of who the woman is. In this tumultuous scenario, Tae-hee remains a soothing presence for Shi-yeon, and their shared moments, like stargazing dates, restore his smiles. Yet deep down, Shi-yeon grapples with the fear that Tae-hee might eventually discover his past deceptions and lies. Shi-yeon's father's lingering feelings for Tae-hee's mother lead them to reunite and decide not to part ways again. Meanwhile, during a hangout session, Se-ju and Soo-ji inadvertently expose Soo-ji to witness Shi-yeon's father meeting with the woman once more. It dawns on Soo-ji that the woman is, in fact, Tae-hee's mother, whom she had previously seen on campus. At a cafe the following day, Shi-yeon works on finishing a painting of Tae-hee's face. Tae-hee's mother happens to be present and commends Shi-yeon's artistic talent, without recognizing that her own daughter's face is being portrayed. Shi-yeon's father scolds his son again, this time falsely accusing him of drug use. Seizing the moment, Shi-yeon subtly hints at the woman his father has been meeting, inciting his father's anger. In the midst of dealing with false rumors, Tae-hee tries to console Shi-yeon. In the morning, Shi-yeon suggests that the tired Tae-hee join him for a workout. The exercise ends with Tae-hee saving Shi-yeon from an accident and injuring her hand in the process. Soo-ji once again observes her mother being exploited by Shi-yeon's father's business dealings. Instead of offering advice to her mother, Soo-ji approaches Tae-hee's mother under the guise of a fan. Soo-ji cunningly shares news about the engagement between Shi-yeon's father and his mother, successfully silencing Tae-hee's mother. Shi-yeon accompanies Tae-hee to help her complete a college assignment, and in the process, they end up spending even more time together, essentially turning it into a date. During this time, Shi-yeon asks Tae-hee for a forgiveness card, which he could use if he ever makes a mistake and needs to apologize to her. Tae-hee agrees to this gesture. Tae-hee introduces Shi-yeon to traditional drinks, which leads to them both enjoying heavy drinking and eventually having to stay overnight due to the effects of the drinks. They spend their time together at an inn, making memories and sharing nights together. In another corner of the scene, Soo-ji is seen missing Shi-yeon and expressing her sadness in their hideout, with Se-ju by her side. Through music, Soo-ji conveys her emotions, and in a surprising turn of events, Se-ju kisses Soo-ji, only to be rejected by her. The next day, before parting ways, Shi-yeon and Tae-hee have another date. During this time, Tae-hee reveals that she was involved in a hit-and-run accident 2 years ago. This revelation triggers Shi-yeon's memory of his own mother's death, which occurred around the same time. Meanwhile, Soo-ji remains upset after having a dream about the kiss she shared with Se-ju the previous night. At Tae-hee's house, Shi-yeon finds a DNA paper that he had given to Tae-hee earlier. He feels a bit disappointed upon discovering that Tae-hee had already read the paper. This secret, which not even Se-ju or Soo-ji know about, was something that Shi-hyun had hoped would remain his own. Despite Taehee's attempts to persuade him, Shi-hyun just wants to be alone, and her efforts don't seem to have an effect. Following that incident, Se-ju and Soo-ji meet. Soo-ji tries to act normal and casually asks about the incident. However, Se-ju's response, which suggests they sleep together, infuriates Soo-ji. At their usual meeting place, Se-ju learns that Shi-hyun is dating Taehee. Se-ju still believes that Shi-hyun's feelings aren't genuine and urges him to revert to his manipulative ways, showing his darker side. Shi-hyun agrees to Se-ju's suggestion to avoid being backed into a corner. Upon arriving at the hideout, Soo-ji awkwardly faces Se-ju's presence. Shi-hyun notices this and thinks Soo-ji might have hit Se-ju. Se-ju then reveals that their old bet is still valid. With no other option, Shi-hyun reverts to his previous behavior, pretending that only Taehee genuinely likes him and resuming the game by hurting Taehee's feelings. Meanwhile, Taehee expresses her apology to Shi-hyun through a letter. The situation becomes increasingly chaotic, leaving Shi-hyun unsure about what to do next. Taehee's mother ends her relationship with Shi-hyun's father after learning that he's getting married. She has spent her whole life waiting for him, but now that they can't be together, she believes it's not meant to be. The following day, Shi-hyun takes Taehee to dinner. While on campus, Taehee hears that Soo-ji and Se-ju are also joining them, prompting her to try to look her best. At the bar, Soo-ji and Se-ju push Shi-hyun to end their game by choosing Taehee. Shi-hyun persists in saying hurtful things that corner Taehee. Despite knowing Shi-hyun well, Taehee urges him to stop pretending to be cruel. Eventually, Shi-hyun decides to end their relationship and admits that he doesn't like Taehee anymore. Soo-ji drives Shi-hyun home in silence, noticing Taehee's presence in Shi-hyun's building. Despite Shi-hyun's reluctance, Soo-ji agrees not to enter and takes him to their hideout. Soo-ji becomes saddened seeing how hurt Shi-hyun is. While he had always been supportive of Soo-ji and Se-ju, he now seems different. This realization makes Soo-ji leave, leading her to tears as she comes to terms with the change in Shi-hyun. While Kyung-ju, escorted by Se-ju, indirectly receives a rejection from him. Se-ju attempts to kiss Kyung-ju in order to gauge her feelings, but Kyung-ju clarifies that she only sees him as a friend and not romantically. The next day, Soo-ji reveals the identity of the woman Shi-hyun's father is dating. Unaware that the woman is Taehee's mother, Shi-hyun recognizes her. Later that night, Taehee and Shi-hyun accidentally cross paths on their way home. While Taehee ignores him, Shi-hyun struggles to suppress his feelings. Back at home, Taehee becomes frustrated with herself due to Shi-hyun's strange behavior. Meanwhile, Shi-hyun becomes more convinced about their relationship after removing his pair of necklaces. Soo-ji notices her mother's stress from her business and decides to meet with Shi-hyun's father. Soo-ji informs him that she plans to marry Shi-hyun as she's tired of seeing her mother being taken advantage of. She mentions Shi-hyun's father's involvement with another woman as well. Soo-ji's words leave him speechless, and he decides to convey to Soo-ji's mother that their son wants to get married. This news shocks Soo-ji's mother and is hard to believe. On the other side, Taehee and other students are drinking together at Se-ju's restaurant. Taehee becomes quite drunk, prompting Se-ju to call Shi-hyun to drive her home since nobody else knows her address. During the drive, Taehee continues to cry and question Shi-hyun about the reasons for ending their relationship. Shi-hyun remains silent, unable to give her a satisfactory answer. When they arrive at Taehee's house, Shi-hyun takes care of her wound and replaces the plaster on it. Taehee notices the change and also sees Shi-hyun's fallen necklace. She was out to look for Shi-hyun and catches up to his car. She questions his actions after they broke up. Taehee tests him by suggesting that he should dispose of the necklace if their relationship truly means nothing to him, which Shi-hyun can't bring himself to do. This prompts Shi-hyun to reveal that Taehee's mother was the one who hit her in the hit-and-run accident 2 years ago, causing her trauma. Taehee, feeling that she has healed and grown stronger, forgives her mother and lets go of the pain. Later that night, Shi-hyun uses the forgiveness card to apologize to Taehee. She tells him that if he makes another mistake, he should make space for the other person, indicating that time can heal wounds. During this conversation, Shi-hyun also informs Taehee that his father is in a relationship with another woman, a fact that even his late mother knew about. The following day, Shi-hyun meets Taehee's mother and reveals his true identity without hesitation. He shares his mother's loneliness during her lifetime due to his father's relationship with the other woman. Tae's mother listens and apologizes to Shi-yeon for her role in his mother's pain. Going back 2 years, Tae's mother was frustrated waiting for Shi-yeon's father, who was unreachable. This led to an argument between her and Tae about changing schools. Amidst this, Tae had an accident. Back in the present, Tae narrowly avoids being hit by Suji's car, which triggers a memory of the type and color of the car. Shi-yeon confronts his father and learns that Suji wants to marry him. He then heads to their hideout, where he's surprised with a birthday celebration, though his expression remains unenthusiastic. Shi-yeon and Suji's argument about their wedding bet continues. Suji believes that since Shi-yeon succeeded in breaking up with Tae, they should get married. Shi-yeon counters by revealing that he and Tae broke up because his mother had hit her in the past, not just because of the bet. Seeing Shi-yeon's sincere expression, Suji becomes frustrated and tries to bring back his old self. In the end, Shi-yeon rejects Suji and chooses to be with Tae, seeking her forgiveness. Meanwhile, Sejoo feels like the fool in the group after learning about the true nature of the bet. Returning home, Suji's mother reveals to Suji that Shi-yeon is not her father's biological child. This shocking revelation leaves Suji in tears, feeling deeply for the complexities of Shi-yeon's life. Suji reaches out to Sejoo for comfort, and he rushes to her side. However, upon arriving, he witnesses Tae and Shi-yeon's joyful interaction, which contrasts with Suji's distress. Sejoo provides support to Suji in her moment of sadness. The next day on campus, Sejoo encounters Tae and Kyungju. He engages in friendly conversation, asking if they celebrated Shi-yeon's birthday and confirming Tae's response. Sejoo playfully remarks that this year's birthday is the first without their usual celebration, highlighting the changing dynamics in Shi-yeon's life. He hints that Shi-yeon no longer seems to require their presence, including Suji's. In a parallel thread, Shi-yeon's father's efforts to reconnect with Tae's mother result in rejection. As he heads back home, an incident occurs due to his health condition, leading to another encounter between Shi-yeon and Tae's mother. During this meeting, Tae's mother offers an apology to Shi-yeon once again and suggests that her past mistakes have been repaid through the hardships her son has endured. The unfolding story prompts Shi-yeon to reach out to Suji, only to discover that she's with Tae. Suji, feeling that her friendship with Tae has been marred by the revelations about Tae's mother, reveals to Shi-yeon that Tae's mother is the woman his father has been meeting. Suji goes further by disclosing that Tae's mother was responsible for the death of Shi-yeon's own mother. It turns out that on the day of the tragic incident, Shi-yeon's mother was on her way to meet the woman loved by Shi-yeon's father. This revelation shatters Tae's perspective. She had believed that her mother's actions had only caused suffering to her and her father, but now she realizes that her mother's actions also affected the life of the person she loves, Shi-yeon. This newfound realization intensifies Tae's anger and resentment toward her mother. Simultaneously, Shi-yeon discovers that the woman is Tae's mother. Suji's deceit angers Shi-yeon, especially when he learns that Suji has shared this information with Tae. Suji faces disappointment once again when Shi-yeon declares that their friendship bond is severed. In this difficult moment, Sejoo becomes Suji's source of support. Despite their deep connection, the cruel hand of fate pushes Tae to distance herself from Shi-yeon. She tries to evade him, yet Shi-yeon persistently seeks her out. He attempts to mend their relationship through words, but Tae, aware of the inevitable outcome, chooses to apologize and break off their relationship. This separation strengthens Tae's determination, prompting her to move to a new place. Meanwhile, Shi-yeon misses Tae deeply, recognizing the void her absence has left in his life. The following day, Tae's mother finally manages to reach her distant child. Tired of her mother's behavior, Tae opens up about the man her mother loves, revealing that he is the father of her boyfriend, Shi-yeon. Tae holds her mother responsible for the strain in their relationship and pleads for her to exit her life. Meanwhile, Suji's mother examines the medical data of Shi-yeon's father, who is suffering from a brain tumor. This leads Shi-yeon's father to decide to call off their impending marriage in order to spare others the burden of his illness. On a different note, Sejoo yearns for the restoration of their trio's friendship. He attempts to reconnect with both Tae and Shi-yeon by inviting them to his palace. Unfortunately, the once tight bond among them has been shattered due to a single bet involving their emotions. While Tae-hee manages her dormitory duties at the foundation section owned by Soo-ji's mother, she also encounters Soo-ji's mother at the hospital, performing a life-saving procedure. Soo-ji's mother's voice and actions as a doctor trigger a memory in Tae-hee, reminding her of the day of her accident. Intrigued, Tae-hee seizes the opportunity to ask Soo-ji's mother about the incident. Flashback to 2 years ago, Tae-hee went for a walk after a disagreement with her mother. She encountered Shi-hyun's mother in a weakened state. Lacking a cell phone, Tae-hee tried to get help to call an ambulance but ended up in an accident herself. Soo-ji's mother, who intended to assist Shi-hyun's mother, instructed Tae-hee to wait for her. However, she never returned. Stranded on that chilly and dark night, Tae-hee's condition worsened as she struggled to stand on her own. In the present, fueled by anger, Tae-hee pours out the whole truth to Soo-ji's mother. In response, Soo-ji's mother explains that she had no other option as her patient, who required hospitalization, was out driving. Tae-hee realizes that the patient was actually Shi-hyun's mother. What Tae-hee desires is a genuine apology and acknowledgement of the mistake from Soo-ji's mother. Coincidentally, Soo-ji witnesses her mother's agitation as Tae-hee exits her room, but she remains unaware of the exact situation. While armed with the truth, Tae-hee finally confronts Shi-hyun and shares the details of the incident. This marks a turning point in their relationship, leading to its gradual repair. Fueled by her curiosity and anger, Soo-ji presses Tae-hee for information about the incident that has affected her mother so deeply. Tae-hee responds with an intense emotion, urging Soo-ji to hear the story directly from her mother. During this heated exchange, Shi-hyun intervenes to protect Tae-hee. Unaware of the context, Soo-ji continues to express her frustration towards Shi-hyun. In response, Shi-hyun sternly warns Soo-ji not to interfere in his relationship with Tae-hee. The tension escalates, and Soo-ji's explosive anger nearly results in a collision with Tae-hee and Shi-hyun. Soo-ji's outburst of emotion only ends up deepening her misery. This realization leads Soo-ji to accept that their once close friendship has truly come to an end. At this moment of distress, someone arrives to show concern for Soo-ji, Se-ju. Se-ju assures her that he will always stand by her side and never leave her. However, even with Se-ju's comforting presence, Soo-ji still feels a sense of loneliness in the situation. Se-ju acknowledges his own feelings of loneliness, stemming from witnessing the close friendship between Soo-ji and Shi-hyun in the past. Shi-hyun approaches Soo-ji's mother to seek an explanation regarding the past incident where she had wrongly implicated Shi-hyun's mother as the hit-and-run culprit. Through their conversation, it is revealed that Soo-ji's mother had actually informed Shi-hyun's mother about her husband's intention to meet another woman. This revelation clarifies the reason why Shi-hyun's mother had left even when she was unwell. Soo-ji, standing outside and overhearing the conversation, finally learns the truth about the hit-and-run incident. Despite the emotional toll it takes on her, she strives to maintain a facade of strength in front of her mother. On another note, Shi-hyun takes a DNA test with his dad and discovers he's his biological son. He realizes his mom was behind this to hurt his dad. Feeling relieved from his problems, Shi-hyun gains confidence to meet and playfully tease Tae-hee. He hopes Tae-hee can move back to her apartment, and she agrees. Shi-hyun visits his sick father and learns he plans to go abroad with his grandma to pursue painting. He asks Tae-hee to spend the day with him, and she agrees without knowing the details. The next day, they go on a date as Shi-hyun wanted. He tries to capture memories through photos with Tae-hee. Meanwhile, Se-ju and Soo-ji find strength in each other's company, now that Shi-hyun is not around. Soo-ji reveals her plan to go abroad, which upsets Se-ju. He pleads with her not to leave him. After their date, Shi-hyun plans to confess his biggest mistake to Tae-hee, which is the love-betting game he played with Se-ju and Soo-ji. However, Se-ju comes to Shi-hyun, urging him to reconcile and be friends like before. Shi-hyun declines and apologizes, which angers Se-ju. Se-ju calls Tae-hee to expose Shi-hyun's deception. Tae-hee can't believe it and goes with Se-ju to their hideout. There, Tae-hee sees all of Shi-hyun's calculated moves to get close to her. Her heart attack deepens as she watches a video of Shi-hyun mocking and insulting her. She asks why they did this to her, and Se-ju arrogantly answers that they picked her as a target without any special reason. Since Tae-hee was Ki-young's first love, the reason was just coincidental. At first, this game could have ended quickly if Shion stopped secretly meeting Tae-hee. Seju's intention in revealing all this is simply to remind Tae-hee that she's the cause of their broken friendship, and this is the toughest punishment left by Shion. Tae-hee has to hear the truth from someone other than Shion. Facing Tae-hee's anger, disappointment, and sadness, Shion can only express his sincere feelings through tears and apologize. His genuine affection for Tae-hee goes beyond his initial plan. Tae-hee decides to use this against him, hurting him and deciding not to see him again. Seizing the opportunity, Seju's revelation makes Shion furious. Tae-hee, on the other hand, is focused on getting to her mother's house. Seju goes to Suji's house and explains the situation, but Suji turns the tables, saying she'll make Seju run errands for her. Meanwhile, Park Hae-jong, Ki-young's fiancé, decides to leave home due to her disapproved relationship with her boyfriend An-ju. Seju takes them to their hiding place. Meanwhile, Ki-young promises Hae-jong's mother that he'll search for her missing fiancé. Shihyun's father is going to have surgery tomorrow. Suji approaches Shihyun and explains that the incident was Seju's fault, hoping to prevent Shihyun from hating Seju. However, Shihyun doesn't find Suji's lies meaningful. He sees all three of them as heartless, considering their past wrongdoings. Shihyun wants them to go their separate ways, and if they happen to cross paths, to pretend they don't know each other anymore. Tae-hee, who remains silent and withdrawn, leads her mother to call her father. She tells him she'll go back to Germany with him. Tae-hee later meets Suji and realizes that Suji's actions have caused her pain, almost like losing Shihyun. The truth about her mother's past actions has been exposed. Tae-hee claims she won't forgive Suji but will try to forget instead. In the meantime, Ki-young managed to track down his fiancée's location by tracing her phone. But when he informed her whereabouts, her mother canceled their engagement, feeling empty after her daughter's escape. This led to Ki-young receiving scolding and disrespect from his own father. In response, Ki-young hatched a plan involving his friends and his fiancée's older brother, Park Yu-jong, to confront the situation where she was staying. At that place, An-ju was facing Ki-young's anger due to their canceled engagement. In a twist of events, Ki-young stumbled upon a whiteboard outlining a revenge plan against him, including breaking up with Tae-hee and ruining his engagement. Seju's unexpected presence made Ki-young feel powerless, prompting him to call Shihyun for help. Enraged by the trio's schemes, Ki-young took his girlfriend Hae-jong and her brother. He threatened them not to involve the police and forced Hae-jong to call Tae-hee, who had been her tutor. To secure Seju's release, Shihyun took a beating from Ki-young. Tae-hee called Ki-young to understand the situation. Ki-young explained that Shihyun had been playing a game and trying to teach him a lesson. Hearing Shihyun's cries, Tae-hee rushed to the scene. The chaotic scene shocked Tae-hee as she witnessed Ki-young's true nature and labeled it as a crime. Tae-hee reported the incident to the police, enraging Ki-young. Unable to bear seeing Shihyun getting hurt, Tae-hee shielded him, worsening his condition. Ki-young managed to escape before Shihyun was taken to the hospital. The following day, Ki-young confronted Suji at her house, revealing the extent of his actions. He blamed Suji's plan for hurting their two best friends in the end. Seeing Shihyun in a coma, Suji broke down in tears. The situation drove Suji to a breaking point, leading her to hallucinate and find her mother in distress. Seju could only cry, apologizing to Suji for not being able to protect her. Shihyun's father, now recovering, has learned the truth that Shihyun is indeed his biological child. Meanwhile, Seju has made the decision to step out of the lives of his two best friends. Tae-hee remains steadfast, waiting for Shihyun to wake up, continuing to share her thoughts with him. Eventually, she discovers a painting by Shihyun along with a heartfelt confession of all the lies and bets. Shihyun's genuine words bring Tae-hee to tears as she pleads for him to wake up soon. Meanwhile, Suji, who has been making progress, must come to terms with the reality that Se-ju is no longer with her. Despite everything, all Soo-ji hopes for is Se-ju's well-being. The following day, Tae-hee receives the news that Shi-hyun has woken up. However, she decides not to visit him, understanding that it's best for both of them to avoid further pain. Following her plans, Tae-hee goes back to Germany with her father. Before leaving, she forgives her mother, realizing that emotions can't always be controlled by people's will. 5 years have gone by. Soo-ji and Se-ju continue to mark Shi-hyun's birthday separately. Meanwhile, Tae-hee is immersed in her architectural work, managing her busy days with clients and still taking a moment to celebrate Shi-hyun's birthday on her own. In a different vein, Soo-ji's mother has left the business world behind and is now volunteering, using her medical expertise to make a positive impact on the world. Se-ju is now running a restaurant in Japan, looking more mature than ever. On a peaceful evening, he arrives at the place where a woman he deeply missed is waiting, none other than Soo-ji. She had gotten the address from Shi-hyun, and their reunion is marked by a heartfelt hug from Se-ju. On the other hand, Tae-hee finally meets her client after the building's construction is finished. As she enters the building, she notices numerous paintings that feel remarkably familiar. It turns out her client is none other than Kwon Shi-hyun, who has achieved success in his own right. Their paths cross once more, this time with healed wounds. The longing they held onto for so long finally paves the way for a fresh start. The moral of the story is if your plans involve too many secrets, you might end up in a tangle messier than a plate of spaghetti.